Hey everyone, these were my thoughts on my first tournament back to chess in 4 years. In this video, I'll tell you about things I've never revealed in each of the 9 games of the tournament, my overall thoughts on the entire tournament, and where do we go from here. Of course, this was not my first and only tournament back. I'm planning to do as many possible tournaments as humanly possible. So send in comments if you have a tournament that you have in mind that you think I should do, because that's why I moved to Europe. I want to play as many tournaments as possible, possibly get my rating up, and possibly get a title in doing so. Now, the tournament in Portugal was interesting, and there's a couple things you need to know about this formatted tournament. This was an open tournament, which means that if I win a game, my next round is against a strong player, usually 22,000, 2100, or 2200. If I lose, then my next round is against a lower rated player. So unrated, which was the case 3 times in this tournament, or low rated like the last round, 1469 rated. So round 1, I was fortunate enough to play titled players. This is what I want. I want to play the best possible. I want to learn from my games against the best possible. I played a 2167 CM, and although it came to an endgame very soon and he got an advantage and then he was winning if he pursued a plan, I am really impressed by my play looking back, because I saved that game. Throughout 35 moves, 15 of the last 35 moves were probably losing, and then as I moved and outplayed my opponent in this endgame, it came to a draw. So that's the type of game that I'm looking forward to. Saving games, really good, and I'm super satisfied from the result of round 1 given the position originally. Of course, I would have liked to have a win, but it was less and less possible after like move 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, then it was less and less possible. Round 2, I could have done better. I did a positional mistake allowing an outpost knight, and from then it looked like my attack was going nowhere, and I gave up psychologically. Once it was kind of losing, I didn't calculate full lines. In my mind, I was definitely self-criticizing myself a lot from that game. And it was losing, it was completely losing from a position, but then he blundered, right? And because I was still in the mindset that, oh, I'm never gonna win this is terrible, it didn't happen for me. And I could have saved the game. I could have made a move that was pretty simple, getting out of a pin that would have equalized the position. But because I was in that mindset of I'm always losing, I decided to lose that game, which was really bad, and I learned from that. Games 3 and 4 were pretty easy. I'm not gonna go over them. I played against 2 0-rated opponents and won pretty nicely in both games. And then round 5, I played against somebody who was very well prepared against me, and this is what I learned, a third lesson in this tournament. Preparation against me is super easy, and so I have to develop new openings all the time to properly be competitive against these well-prepared players on my chess.com account. I'm going to be developing a whole new opening repertoire because I have to, because everything I've showed on chess.com, everything I do play right now is out in the open to be seen, and it's a huge weakness in my play that I can do relatively nothing about. And so that was game 5. He's just really well prepared and he played excellently, and then it was just like a 93.9 performance by my opponent. Played super well. Round 6, I missed a lot of chances. I missed a lot of chances against a lower rated player, unrated this time, and it was difficult. You know, I could feel that I had many winning opportunities, but because they were, you know, like not fun lines, or not fun lines to calculate, kind of uncomfortable lines to calculate, I didn't go for them. And in the analysis, it's really the one lines that I didn't look at that it was like, of course that works. So really a reminder to look at everything against anyone and not just look at the main lines. Even though you're playing an unrated player, what makes you stronger than a lower rated player is your diversification in terms of looking at different moves and thinking of different plans. And so I won that one by the skin of my teeth. I found a really good plan in the endgame, f5, probably my move of the tournament. As I'll say, overall for the tournament, I think f5 in the endgame That was probably my best singular move. I had some really good moves. I had a brilliant move in game 9. I had a brilliant move in game 8. But f5 was a great move. It was a life-saving move. It saved my endgame from a complete draw after missing a very huge opportunity, a big miss of winning a full piece up. So that was a really important game. Now we go into game 7, in which I played my third titled player, Isha Sharma from India. A game that you can't help but smile, but again, super big blunder in the early middle game phase. I gave a pawn and I recouped the pawn, but positionally my game is blundered. Like, my pawn's structure is so bad, I should be losing that game 10 times out of 10 against a GM, but for some reason I survived and I came to a draw. So huge save again, testing that mental strength. I think I showed that 2 times in this tournament, round 1, round 7. Super happy about that result, given the fact, but again, the big blunders, I have to look for the small stuff and for the big picture stuff at the same time. Game 8, we went into an endgame very quickly. I sacrificed the exchange in an endgame, rightfully so. It was a good exchange sacrifice, but I didn't keep up with it, and I was impatient. I pushed my pawns too fast. I didn't block his counterplay, and his counterplay became very compelling, and so my pieces that were once attacking became defensive, and my compensation was insufficient in the later stages of the game. It was drawn up until like the later moves, but I missed a crucial e3 in the endgame. Round 9, good win, but again, although it was really attacking and I was really winning, I missed the mate in 5. That I will hold myself to it. Although it was an incredible attacking game, I missed the mate in 5, which is really, really bad. My opponent did a blunder and I went for what I was already gonna do. I didn't look for new potential moves, even though that last move blunder by him really opened up the doors for other possibilities, other sacrifices in that position. When we went through with the sacrifice, I sacrificed a piece. I was all the way not sure whether it was winning or not. Some lines were forced, but it was never completely clear, and I'll hold myself to it because I remember in a complex problem at the very end, I find the solution to probably 7 or 8 lines, but the 9th line, the only line that almost was played, was not solved by me, and it was an easy move, and I didn't have it in my head, even though thankfully the engine at the end of the game said, like, yes, in that variation you are also completely winning. So overall, a lot of lessons learned, a lot of mistakes, both on the board and psychologically, which I will work on. And finally, I will say this. I gained 5 ELO from this tournament. I had high hopes, but I kept my hopes low. Like, I didn't say, okay, I'll gain 100 ELO, and then anything below that I was, depressed from. No, I'm satisfied that I didn't lose against a lower rated opponent. I'm satisfied that I got 2 draws against titled players, but I know I can do much better, and I know I should do much better. Lots to learn. This is only the beginning. Thanks for watching.